Hello everybody, new year, no hair. So, welcome back to another Saturday Skin Showcase. I'm your host Hedge, along with my co-host MICRØ. We have a few groups of skins to look at, which we'll review from both a gameplay and a Steam market investment point of view. First we'll take a look at this week's Rust item store rotation, and we'll follow that up with a look at any workshop submissions from the week, which could be viewed as continuations of existing sets. We hope that this information will properly prepare us to make informed investment decisions about both upcoming and already existing skins on the Steam market. If you have any insights of your own that you'd like to share, please feel free to contribute to the discussion via Twitch chat, which you can see right there. Hello, Twitch chat. Do you have anything nice to say? No? Yes, so, or if you'd like to join our investor community, please consider looking in the descriptions for YouTube videos, and you can see a link to our Discord. And yeah, you're more than welcome to join. So, yeah. It's cold, MICRØ. It's very cold. How are you doing over there, MICRØ?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm just in my frosty gear and my Ice King outfit, so I don't know, you would think I'd be cold, but feeling all right.
They're bullying me. It's only just started. Anyway, good day to you, Mr. MICRØ. It's a brand new year, and I just want to start off real quickly and say we saw a massive surge of people playing recently. On the wipe day for this week, we reached a peak of 176,000 people playing. The amount of people that I just wasn't prepared for that. And, well, the prices of skins seems to have gone back up again, so life's looking pretty good there. Post-Christmas is still steadily moving on very nicely. I've made almost $20,000 worth of sales, so chat, I hope you've done very nicely these past few weeks. You can stop bullying me, I helped you. So, Mr. MICRØ, let's start talking about all of these new skins, because I've noticed that some of them have been selling very nicely. So, let's just make sure I can move. And Mr. MICRØ, shall we get started? Shall we start talking about the tempered large box? So let's just get a good twirl around. And what do I see? It was something I was expecting. It is Milio Frito's tempered large box, which we showed off a couple of weeks ago. As I mentioned back then, I fully expected this to be accepted. This collection is developing very, very nicely. We've recently seen the likes of the sheet metal door, we've seen the likes of the garage door. They sold at higher prices, but they still sold quite a lot. And I really was expecting that this was going to appear for the first wipe day of, 2023, and that's exactly what happened. Oh, I've accidentally hit you, Mr. MICRØ. So let's just get a good look at this in the dusk times. Oh, yes, get a good look at the colours. And Mr. MICRØ, in a few seconds, you can fan your torchlight at this again with your special miner's hat. So yeah, you can see how all the edges reflect light differently. It's ever so nice. And yeah, this has been selling very, very nicely. With so many more people playing during a wipe day, more people noticed the Rust Store skins. They saw this, and well, in 2 days it's already sold over 20,000 quantity. Ridiculous amounts. It's a $2.99 skin, not as expensive as the previous doors, but it's definitely pushing its weight. Like, I fully expect this to reach 30,000 sales in total, and that's going to be a lot more compared to those doors. I believe the garage door sold just over 14,000, and the sheet metal door sold just over 17,000. So, Mr. MICRØ, yeah, get a good look at that. Milio's done a very nice job here of how all of that reflects ever so nicely and whatnot. Now, what do you reckon might be the next tempered deployable? I fully expect him to continue this, of course, but of course he also is making frog cosplay, so if you're invested into frog cosplay, will we potentially see armour next week, or will we see some more deployables? Chat, you'd like to see a furnace, a small box? Small box wouldn't be a bad shout. Do you know what I'd like to see? Some double doors. As per usual, always wanting more of those double doors. Mr. MICRØ, do you like how it shines? Are you happy with what you see? It
certainly does shine. Yeah, it looks cool.
So yeah, like it. So it's selling very nicely. People seem to approve of it. Yes. So let's just get during the day, and yeah, Good stuff. So we've already seen it, we were anticipating it, and it's here. Well done to you, Mr. Milio Frito, and I hope everybody likes it. So, oh, what did you just look it away from me? MICRØ.
You know, someone might want to know what it looks like with a code lock installed, so...
Not a bad idea. So if I could just slowly pan around it, and then I will tinker with the lights. Make it... There we go. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. So yeah, cool stuff. In terms of a profit, we have to be careful because, as I said, the likes of the other two doors only sold around 15,000 sales. This has already beaten that in 2 days, and I think we're going to end up at around 30,000 sales. But we did see there was a skin I thought was very similar to this, and that was in terms of a collection, Dragonhorn. Dragonhorn sold for the same price, sold around 35,000 sales, and right now selling for over $6. But that came out a year and a half ago. Is this a skin that you might want to buy hoping to sell it for a nice profit immediately? But that might not happen due to the sales. But if you held on to it for a longer time, and as we eventually potentially see many more tempered deployable skins and various other potential new skins, maybe we'll start seeing more weapons again, then yeah, I think this is going to progress very, very nicely in the long term. So, yeah. Good idea there, K-Dub. That did look pretty good with the locks. MICRØ, should we start looking at the likes of the Twig door? Yes, the one with the holes.
Sure. It's, you know, the door is perfect for this week because when I was building the set here, you know, I picked a nice scenic location here in the snowy area.
Whoa.
But I didn't have enough materials to build out the normal set, and you could tell I kind of ran out of wood and stone and everything. So convenient. It's really convenient that we had this door because it just perfectly matches the rest of the build. So
a convenience and being very resourceful, Mr. MICRØ. In fact, chat, do we ever want to go back to stone? No, we love the twigs and we love what we see. So straight up, I just want to say oh, let me just quickly tab out. And let me just extend this, just so I can get the information. Yep. Okay, so, Freddy. This, I was mistaken when I first read this. Freddy has been making a lot of skins for quite some time, but the last skin he made was actually over a year ago. And, wait, hang on a minute. Is that someone I can see? Who's that? It's you. So yeah, Freddy has been trying to get a lot of skins being accepted recently, and maybe due to the recent Wild Animals wooden door that we've seen being accepted, he thought, you know what, why don't I try and think of a fun idea to try and get something like this being accepted. Some see-through portion on a wooden door. And in terms of a theme, great idea, self-referential to Rust. It's not like a colourful off-brand, like in-reference joke or whatever. No, this is directly referencing Rust. And I'm sure there's plenty of you ever so crazy Twig-based lovers that just need this door on your base. Surely that's why this has sold 20,000 already in 2 days. Mr. MICRØ, are you doing a nice dance in the background there?
Yeah, just, you know, making sure you could see that transparency in all its glory.
So
you know, how
let
it
me
matches the rest of the Twig models and stuff.
So as I can see, so yeah, you can see that. Now what we'll need to do is I'll actually need to hop in a minute. So I just want to make sure everybody can see this. Could you turn the lights off as well, Mr. MICRØ, and stand in front of me with a torch or your there we are. And bring your light source, Mr. MICRØ. Yes.
On this side or that side?
Yeah, you could do both sides. We want to see the lighting on it, and then of course, so yeah, very easy to notice him when there's a light source on the other side. If we could just sneak in and take a better look, and then yeah, now we can get a good look at the lighting. If you want to move around a little bit, Mr. MICRØ, you can see, yeah, it's a nice bit of work there. Did a very good job here, Mr. Freddy.
I think you can get a good look at that by just scrolling through the time of day. I saw some nice sun angles that really show off the depth of that texture. It matches well with the rest of the Twig in terms of the way it catches light and the way it gives off the appearance of dimension.
Yeah,
it's really well. It pairs really well. Although actually, I do notice a bit different timing of when the light hits the door versus the Twig. It leaves the illumination uneven between the twig and the door, but I don't think that's anything to do with the skin itself. That's just the game, the mechanics of the game engine.
I can see you. Get out of here. Get out of here. Now remember, this isn't an actual hole. It's still the door. So don't be fooled by that. Now there is one thing I wanted to do. I want to lower my settings. So if I go to graphics and let's lower the quality, does the hole get bigger? Does anything change? You might remember why I'm doing this, because of course we very recently had the wild animals door, and the mesh that we had that you could see through, once you had it at very low graphic settings, it was literally just a big gap. What we have right here is not a big gap, it doesn't change. But hey, it's still cool. So, Mr. MICRØ, we very recently had that door. Do you reckon you could bring it back? If you could place it down, so remove this and place down the wild animals door, because I made a point that the best direct thing that we could probably compare this with is the... oh, sorry, I was going to squeeze through. Yep. Is the that wild animals door that came out very recently. Now, that sold for $2.49, and this is what you can see when you have graphics quality 0. Now, a lot of you people might think, I don't want to play like that. That's fine. What if we did graphics quality 2? So let's just quickly go up here. So this still remains the same, but this has little weird blotches of black right there. Alright, let's now up it to 4. So I'll just bring it up to 4 real quickly. And yep, that's starting to look a lot better. And this right here, still kind of blotchy, but it's now starting to cover. And of course, if I go to max quality, graphics quality, number 6, come on, you can get there. Come on. He's just a little bit shy. Come on, there we go. Yeah, you can still see it through perfectly fine. It's just, you know, maybe you don't like the grating, but with this, it's got a nice big gap that you can easily just kind of look around. Maybe it's a case of you don't want other people noticing you taking a quick look. This is going to give your position away if you're looking outside. This, probably not so much. MICRØ, we also have some other doors that we want to showcase real quickly, because these aren't the only see-through transparent wooden doors. What was the streamer's name again for this door? Mr.
Ooh,
MICRØ?
that's a great question.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name. I know. I can tell you, Duck made this door. It's called the Door of Glory. Oh, this is for Suspect. That's the name of the stream.
So if you want to hop round, Mr. MICRØ, we can take a look through the glory hole.
That puts me in a very compromising position. I think I'm just going to keep my distance. Here, I'll stand like a couple feet back. We don't want any accusations of any funny business here.
Yeah, so yeah.
I'm going to stay well back.
We can see him ever so nicely. Good stuff there, Mr. MICRØ. And then we have the porthole door. So, Mr. MICRØ, where are you? There he is. We can see him right there. Yep. So, how old is this porthole door again? This is like 5 years old, if I recall.
That goes way back. That is from 2017. January 22nd, 2017.
And then we have, of course... Oh, you are the apple of my eye, Mr. MICRØ. So yeah, we've got a lovely batch of doors here, and these are technically what is in contention with our brand new Twig door, but this is a streamer skin. You're not going to be able to get that anymore. And these two, these are very expensive. Like, not ridiculously, but expensive enough that you'd probably rather stick with these two. So this right now is selling for $1.99. This right now is actually kind of selling for just around $2.49. It's awkward because even though it's post-Christmas right now and prices are great for selling your skins, this door, even though it's sold just barely over 10,000, is not actually selling above its rust price. It's actually below. And I'm quite surprised by that, because this is something that we really do have to take into consideration. These are wooden doors, right? Mr. MICRØ, I'm sure you're going to have a great point in a minute, but yeah, I think Facepunch is perfectly happy to be lenient with this, because whilst it's helpful to have, It's a wooden door. You're going to be able to shoot that down. You'll be able to get the flamethrower out, and you could use a Molotov. You know, there's plenty of things that can destroy a wooden door that a lot of people just wouldn't really be worried about getting. You know, if you get the idea, it's not going to be too much of a hassle. So, Mr. MICRØ, you do have your points that you wanted to make real quickly. So go right ahead. Supporter of the wood doors, a maniac.
Well, I mean, I agree with you in the long overall span of time that you find yourself in a wipe. The wood door has limited viability. It's only really useful for the first period of time until you get your very first frags. I mean, one of the first things you make with frags is a sheet metal door, at least for your airlock. But yeah, I mean, if all you got is wood, or maybe you're not worried about getting molly rated or whatever, because mollies are tier 2. If everybody is on tier, it hasn't even have a workbench yet, I mean, you don't have to worry so much about using a wood door. But as we can see with the market performance of wooden doors, they have limited positive movement on the Steam market. And, well, I don't know. I don't see why this door would be any different, the Twig, especially if we see that same behavior with the wild animals door. It's not that people don't like it. It's just there's maybe a bit of oversaturation right now, and the demand for it has to catch up. Keep in mind also that if a door like this is going to be potentially used as a disadvantage as much of an advantage as it does provide. So things like this are really even the usefulness of things like this are increased by having the spray can DLC, where you can take these, put them into service when you need it and then swap it out for something else when you don't. That's potentially one of the bigger advantages that comes along with the skin with transparency. But we've seen in recent past with the bombshell garage door. It's an awesome looking door. It was affordable. I think a lot of people bought it. There may have been some over exuberance maybe from the investor community that led to a bit of oversaturation. I'm not sure what to attribute it to, but we've got, I think, 4 other garage doors with transparency. For whatever reason, they're performing quite well, and the bombshell garage door isn't. Certainly not on account of its design or its aesthetic. I think it's a great door, and the windows are in a great spot. So it's definitely a good skin, but for whatever reason, the market performance isn't doing that well. So maybe it's people not valuing transparency like they used to, or it's a curious thing, what to attribute that to.
Because
But
the one thing I want to bring up real quickly is that wild animals door barely sold over 10,000 after 7 days. That Twig door, after 2 days, already has 20,000 sales. So that's the immediate thing that I'm concerned about. That's the one thing I'm worried about, Mr. MICRØ. But, in terms of helpfulness, I still think the wild animals door is better. But the theme, the joke, the reference of what that Twig door is, I think it's just looking so much more visually appealing. But
I think it's a great meme. I think it's definitely highly memeable just on account of it matching the Twig. Personally, if I was going to get a door with transparency and I had to choose between these two, and all respect to MICRØ, but I would 100% be picking the Twig door because of the position of the transparency and functionality that provides. I think it's just like the best of both worlds. You've got the crouch visibility, you've got the standing height visibility, and that just gives you so much more viewing options and usefulness compared to something like this with where you have to you're basically looking up. You look through this, unless you jump or you place something like a campfire that you can stand on to get your height. But if I had to pick one, it would be the Twig door. That's a personal opinion and nothing more.
Well, that is looking to be perfectly fine, and we can confirm that both of these doors, the creators do intend to turn them into collections. We've already seen some other wild animals doors being made recently, but maybe we'll have something interesting to talk about Twig collection in a bit. So we'll keep that for the workshop talk. Thank you for your words, Mr. MICRØ. Do you want to talk anything about these other doors, or shall we move on to the next workshops, the next rotation?
There's not much to say here. I mean, we know these doors over here from just being market enthusiast for so long, everyone has seen these doors and knows of them. The door to heaven is like $25. The porthole door is just under 10. And unfortunately, the glory door or the door to glory or whatever this one was called was a Twitch drop, and it's no longer available. So
No, you can't get this anymore.
unfortunately, yeah, of all the doors, of all the deployables or everything that was a Twitch drop, I missed this door somehow. Somehow I missed it, and this one has glow on it too.
Does
So
it?
yeah, that's a real shame. I missed it.
I didn't catch
And
that.
yeah, that green stuff down there is like a very subtle.
Oh.
Well, if curious, you could. Oh, I have the lights off. Yeah, you could look at that if you want.
Yeah, I can see that. I didn't realise that.
Yeah, it's a really nice door. I'm really disappointed I missed that one.
Yeah, let's just get a good look. Yes. What can I see? Oh, it's us. Hooray!
Careful looking through there. Don't get too close.
Yeah. You never know what you might see. It's probably
Mhm.
nothing worth your time. Right,
Oh.
MICRØ.
All right, I'm gonna get rid of these demonstrations here because we're moving on to the next phase.
Yes. The Volcano Man desires the destruction of wood, for he is hungry. Yes, it is the Volcano Door. Get a good look at this, people. LeCramp has done a very nice job. Get a good look at this. So, what's he so angry about? Do we not feed him enough wooden doors? So this
Is he
actually...
angry? Maybe he's surprised. He could be like scared. Like
Maybe. But, nah, maybe he's still hungry. Do you have any other wood doors that we can feed him? Maybe he doesn't want wood. Maybe he wants metal. But yeah, this is looking pretty good. And this actually took us quite by surprise, because this is actually a continuation of a collection, isn't it? This was a continuation of the Volcano Furnace that came out a year and a half ago. Didn't realise it, my apologies, but hey, you got it accepted, and it's a good piece of work. But the problem is, and yeah, I have to be concerned, last year we saw the likes of 25 sheet metal doors being accepted, and that's a common thing for a year. I believe the year before that it was very similar. I think it was 24, but yeah, sheet metal door skins are very common. And do you honestly think this is the last time we're going to see a glow-in-the-dark sheet metal door? Do you reckon it's the last time we're going to see a glow-in-the-dark sheet metal door with a face? Remember Toxic Dragon? Remember Dragonhorn? Dragonhorn's a good shout. Dragonhorn right now isn't selling very greatly. Dragonhorn sheet metal door, that is. But that is the best thing that I could quickly compare it to. But Dragonhorn sheet metal door sold like 40,000. This, at the moment, I think is around 13 or 14,000. So, in terms of sales, nowhere near. But in terms of potential profits, people did ask LeCramp, hey, do you plan to turn this into a collection? And he sounded motivated. It did sound like he wanted to do that. So, yeah, on the horizon, it definitely potentially looks like we'll be seeing some more Volcano skins being accepted. Well, submitted first, and then maybe accepted in the future. So, if you're curious, that is currently on the comment section of this Skins Workshop page. So, remember, if you're curious, you can always approach the skin creators on the Skins Workshop pages, and you can just ask, hey, I like this skin a lot, but do you plan to make any more? Yeah, hello Jarvanith, how you doing, buddy? We're just showing off a bunch of skins, of course, the new skins that appeared this week, and then we're also about to show off some skins that have appeared in the workshop recently that are continuations of collections. So sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself. Mr. MICRØ, do you have any words you'd like to say about this Volcano door?
Well, I'd like to just follow on from the last point you made, which was if you leave positive feedback or suggestions on the workshop item page, I've actually seen multiple instances of artists taking that feedback and suggestions into account and helping the community get what they want. It's like I think that that's a perfectly fine thing to do, and I would suggest that if someone has an idea or suggestion or any kind of feedback at all, there's a lot of opportunity to engage directly with artists there on the workshop on the comments page for these skins, and I think that's a good suggestion for people to do if they have constructive or positive contributions.
It's always nice to just sit there and say, I like your work and I'd like to see more. Motivation helps a lot. Right. So,
I just want to continue on that for one more bit. An artist might know because they had a lot of good feedback from the votes, from favorites or from likes. And of course, if a skin gets accepted, that's a lot of motivation right there to continue. But if the community can inform the artist, they're also raising attention and awareness to Face Punch. Like, hey, we like this skin. We're taking the time out of our day to go comment. That's a sign that engagement is very positive, and there's no telling how that weighs into the decision making Face Punch, but I don't think it could hurt. So I think it could only be a good thing.
Mr. Metatron gave us a good example: black gold clothing and armor. Bad trip.
Yeah.
He took a lot of critique.
That's a whole other step above that. Yeah. Actually, he has a Discord. Bad Trip has a Discord for skin making where he's been hosting that for many years now. But he made a specific channel in there for discussions around that around the black gold set and getting feedback from the community as to what they wanted. And there was even a bit of collaboration there to say, like, we'd like to see it look like this or like that. And he actually took those suggestions and incorporated them into his design. And that's the product of that collaboration and back and forth iterative process to get to an end result. I think that's really cool to have that engagement directly with the artist. So
it's good for everyone.
Opportunities there. Yeah, exactly right.
It's a positive for everybody.
It's a very community sort of bonding experience. So yeah, go chime in on the workshop with some clever comments or good suggestions. And now back to the door itself. I am really impressed with this, just from a creativity and execution standpoint. This is really well done. The way he's incorporated the glow into the folds of the lava there, I guess is what that is. I think that's it's really nicely carried out, and it looks cool. And to be honest, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's another copycat of whatever, Toxic Dragon or one of those. Not Toxic. Do I have the right thing there? I forget the name, but you know what I'm talking about. There's a couple very red, kind of glowing skins. Molten Visage is another one.
That's it. That's another one.
Right. I immediately just was like, oh, it's a copycat. And then after just a few seconds of looking at it, I was like, wow, this is really intricate, really well thought out, very creative, and it's just 10 out of 10 as far as I could say. I mean, just in terms of the quality of the skin, the sculpting job, the artistic expression there. Would you put this on your base? I mean, if you're into fire and flames and volcanoes, I would certainly think so. How does it pass the visibility test? How does that look at nighttime?
Well, it's
stealth test.
The whole thing kind of glows, Mr. MICRØ. It's quite easy to stand out in front of him. So yeah, I don't think it's going to pass that task, that thing. But hey, it's more about the interesting and cool design that he's made. LeCramp, you did a very good job here, and we look forward to potentially seeing some new skins being made from you. More volcano skins, that is. So, Mr. MICRØ, I think we've said our praise enough. Shall we start talking about weapons? Would you like to get yourself nice and in position, Mr. MICRØ? I already showed it off to you. It is the Banger SAR that we're going to start talking about. Oh, look, I got a target. Hello, how are you doing? Yes, it run away. Right, so the Banger... not Banger SAR, sorry, that came out recently. Banger AK. Oh my god, I've really screwed myself over there. Yes, the Banger AK. We recently showed off a SAR, didn't we? So yes, Banger AK. Looking very nice. Got the nice artwork and whatnot. Again, let's just shoot that again. Nice, helpful red aim sight. Reload. And Mr. MICRØ, strike a pose. So yeah, let's get a good look at Mr. MICRØ standing in front of the shore. Oh wait, you haven't got the lights on. Oh, don't worry, Mr. MICRØ. I'll quickly sort that out. You just look pretty. Right, come on. There. We don't have power, MICRØ. No.
I think you might not have TC off.
Oh no! Oops. You could have just said it was all done by magic instead of electricity, but oh well. That's a great looking view there. Nice and pink skies. So let's just get a good look at this skin right here. Yes. We've seen a lot of these recently, haven't we, Mr. MICRØ? Mr. Michael just keeps making more and more. But hey, some of them do get accepted and some of them sell very nicely, don't they? So let's just get a good little pan around this. Got a nice big bang right there. Love heart. Again, the bullet, always on theme. And as we tilt around, same things on this side. Not so clear. Let's just make it a bit brighter. Looking pretty cool. Mr. MICRØ, any opinions?
Well, I'm glad we showed this off. You know, I don't want to sound like repeating myself, although I don't remember exactly the things that we said last time or last week when we showed this. But yeah, I think it's a pretty nice job of carrying over this theme and concept over to this skin, and you know, he's filled up all the space with nice little details, and it's a cool design and a cool theme. So yeah, I'm happy to see that get continued along.
Would you like to put it on your back?
Can do.
And there we are. Looking very nice. Nice and colourful. Good job to you so far, Michael. And wonder what next we're going to see from you. I wonder if he decides to dabble into making deployables and clothing and armour. That might be interesting. But how would he have the bullet? What would the bullet be instead? Maybe it would just be a fun design that he has on the shirt, for example. I mean, nothing wrong with that. It's worth a try. So maybe he'll stick with weapons, or maybe we'll see some more. So yeah, more weapons. I meant to say more weapons, or yeah, maybe we'll see something different. I'm stumbling. MICRØ, shall we move on to the next weapon? That being the Code SAR. Yes, that's what I accidentally read before.
I knew that's what it was. I knew you had seen another SAR on the list.
Sorry. He was on my lawn, and I didn't like him. But yeah, I accidentally read the wrong thing. But yep, we have a continuation of the Code collection. Mr. Eros, you've been quite lucky, hasn't he, in terms of he's got two collections at the same time, and he keeps getting skins accepted from both of them. So for a fairly recent skin creator that got their first skins being accepted, I think it was late 2021 if I recall. Is that correct, Mr. MICRØ?
I'm not sure what his first was. It might have been that garage door, but
yeah, he's fairly new, I think. I think he's been trying for a while, but then his first acceptance was around 2021, and now he's had like what, 10 acceptances? Acceptances. Cool, I need to drink some more water. Mr. MICRØ, you just stay there and look cute.
And you know, actually, that garage door was under Andre's workshop, the Dead Moreau's garage door.
That's
actually, I have to check this Eros' profile to see what was. I don't know why we don't need to dig so deeply into everyone's history here, but I would say that he got sort of a intermittent pattern of acceptances, and recently he's gotten a number of them accepted. So pretty cool that he's established himself and started to see some success.
It's a nice position to be in. So yeah, maybe we'll see some more El Diablo skins being made soon. But yeah, it's the same pattern as we've seen before with the matrix design, the dark greens. Can't go wrong with that. Let's make sure it's night time. There we go. Stands out a whole lot better there, doesn't it? And of course, as you just saw, we've got a very happy looking skull right there. There he is. Hey. So, Mr. MICRØ, do you reckon you could put that on your back, strike a pose, and turn around? Yes. Good stuff there. Not super bright, but hey, a lot of people would appreciate that, wouldn't they? But there is a bit of a problem. Also, K-Dub, thank you for the bits. Just wanted to say thank you for the sub as well. But yeah, SAR skins, MICRØ. Me and my chat were making a bit of a joke during Rust or Rotation how SAR skins are getting more and more acceptances as the years have gone by. So I believe 2022 was 14, 2021 was 11, and 2020 was 8. So every year we're getting more and more and more accepted, and we're starting to make the joke of SAR skins are becoming more like AK skins. There's far too many of them appearing in such a short amount of time that they don't really go up in price anymore, and it's starting to actually look like that. Post Christmas time, I've seen about a decent 50-50 in terms of which ones have been a profit and which ones have been a loss. But it's not up by much for quite a lot of them. And when you look at the likes of the AK skins, I mean, I should have mentioned it earlier when we had the banger AK, but 27 AK-47 skins came out in 2022. Right now, there's only 3 that are in the positive. And one of them's an anomaly because one of them was the skin from last week, the Bombshell AK. I don't really like to include those. I'd like to wait at least a week or two and then treat that as something to properly track. But yeah, if we keep seeing more and more and more and more SAR skins being accepted, they're all probably going to end up getting pretty cheap because people just won't be loyal to their SAR skins, much like their AK skins, because they know there'll always be another one. But yeah, that's just my point in terms of the financial side, MICRØ. Is everything... Go on.
You talking gave me something to ponder over, and I don't know how much value this adds to the stream here, but I'm curious if FacePunch has a strategy involved when it comes to turnover on the marketplace. So if you have an item that has very limited number of skins, I think that's going to cause the price to just in general stay high for that item. Or that class of items. And if you have something with a tremendous number of skins, like an AK, for example, I think the average price of AKs will be on the lower side, but they do get percentage from sales, from party-to-party sales on the Steam market. So if, maybe they make up for it in terms of pricing when it comes to volume. If there's a lot of sales activity for SARs just on a daily basis, just looking at SCMM, I'm seeing some things here that have sold some decent volumes, like 30 or so, like Diesel SAR. It's a pretty cheap SAR, but we've saw 30 of them in the past 24 hours. So clearly that's selling, a decent amount and continue to change hands. And I don't know. It'd be interesting to consider how that fits into the equation from FacePunch's perspective in terms of, you'd think maybe it's foolish for them to be always releasing so many of this type of weapon or whatever. And we see that as investors, affecting our, the outcome of things for us. But looking at it from their perspective, maybe there's some benefit to that because, people are always changing, selling their SAR to buy a different one, and that generates revenue for FacePunch team. So maybe that's a good thing in the grand scheme of things. So like I said, my little rant here maybe doesn't add a ton of value to the stream today, but it's something I plan on paying a little more attention to in the future, seeing how that fits into the economy there or the ecosystem.
Nothing wrong with a little bit more analysis.
Yeah.
Right, MICRØ, shall we move on to talking about the Leopard Hunting Bow? And bring me to daylight. Yes. Polar Bear ain't back, is he? Right, so I'll try and get him over the mountain. Hey!
Hey! Oh!
Well, yeah, where did that come from, huh? Yeah. Anyway, what do I have in my hands? It is the quite comfy to hold and reasonably stylish Leopard Hunting Bow, made by a Mr. Loddy. So, Loddy, I think this is his first skin that isn't paint related to be accepted. He's been making a lot of spray can and graffiti skins. But now he's actually got skin that doesn't have to be painted. It's quite literally just find a leopard and take his flesh. That just sounded really weird. Anyway, so yes, this is a more down to, more grounded, enjoyable, nice looking bow skin. Get a good look at that. Look at those spots, Mr. MICRØ. And would you like to aim down? And yep, that's a nice pose. Now let's make it darker. It'll be pitch black in a minute. There we go. That's what we needed. Yes. Get a good look at this, people. So, is this what you're looking for? Is this what you need? Are you a type of person that hates the very colourful skins and would rather have something that you think is more realistic in design, more approachable? Well, take a good look at the Leopard Bow.
We do have a number of animal print skins in the game. We have that really old tiger stripe sleeping bag.
Yeah.
And then we've got the zebra set. And now we have the leopard set. I mean, you could be basically pimped out from head to toe. And they like, what's next? Where do you go from here? We have the snake skin stuff too.
Yeah.
Right? There's like basically all animal patterns here are represented.
I think I got one.
We got a we need like chinchilla maybe, or
we can hunt down robots and take their flesh instead. Yes, robot. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I get what you mean. In terms of options that we could have, I guess, we've seen plenty of leopard clothing style of clothing in the real world and whatnot, so I guess, it's a nice transfer, but yeah, I get what you mean. Like, there's no leopards in the game, K-Dub. Don't you lie. I saw what you wrote. Leopards are very rare on the Rust Islands nowadays. Lies!
Mink. Yeah, mink. So we can look like Future. I like that idea.
So, would you like to put it on your back? Yes. The man on the hunt. Twirl a little bit more around, Mr. MICRØ. Yeah. Yes. Looks nice, but yeah. Will people be going crazy for it? Hunting bows. They aren't doing super great. I'm led to believe that everyone that wants to use a hunting bow and obviously needs a skin or wants a skin, they've already got that one skin that they really like and they've already got. So maybe the retro wave or the abyss bow or comics bow. I think all the types of bows that people really like are already figured out. Might sound a bit weird, but like newer bows kind of struggle. And if you go take a look at all the ones that came out in 2022, quite a lot of them aren't doing super great at the moment. But they're also not really stand out in design and idea. Like, Bonana did alright. That was a fun gimmick, a silly idea. It stood out, it's nice. But even now it's starting to go below its restore price. So, yeah. Hunting bows can be a bit awkward. This looks like a nice bow. I do want to give it that. I think Lottie did a very fun idea in terms of making sure the whole thing has the design all on the side there and whatnot. He had a nice little bit of carving here that you can see. So he added a little bit more to it and whatnot, but yeah, it might struggle. That's what I'm just going to point out to all of you.
I like it.
I like it too. I do like it. If I wanted a non-super colourful idea, that would be the one I'd go for. And yeah, so hello JKF, hello Benji, hello everybody that's just turned up. So I hope you're all doing very nice. We're just showing off all the current week's skins, and then we're about to show off all the workshop skins that we've seen appear this week. Talking about that, Mr. MICRØ, shall we move on? Talking about
some pretty decent clarity on the leopard print fur detail. If you get right up in there on like the handle portion, you can really see it's I don't know if that actually picks up light. I didn't check to see if that's part of the normal map or if it's a flat texture just applied on there, but either way it looks good. It's clear, it's crisp, and it doesn't look, a lot of times fur is difficult to represent on a skin because it's just very fine detail and you only have so many pixels to work with. But this came together pretty nice, even up close. And the bow model did get a refresh somewhere along the way. So, that's been a while now, but I don't know if that's what's enabled this to look good. It definitely looks better than some of the older bow skins that were made pre-update. So, I don't know. It looks good with the leopard pattern along the edges of the bow as well, and then the carving or Sure if those are tooth marks or claw marks, but it's got some texture along the wooden portions, you know, facing front and back. But I bet you that that leopard print will act pretty well as sort of stealth. You know, the bow is one of those things that sticks up pretty high above your head. So if you're trying to crouch in a bush or, you know, conceal yourself, the last thing you want is something that stands out and acts like a beacon to point at your location. I think this, you know, with the texture on that leopard print and having it be kind of non-uniform, not quite random, but you know, it breaks up that silhouette a little bit to make it harder to see what you're, you know, less eye-catching. So I think in terms of tactical thinking, this fits pretty nicely into the game, and not to mention, you know, it's got a very primitive look to it, which matches you know, the position of the bow in the hierarchy or the white progression. So it's got a lot of things going for it, and I'm not surprised at all to see this get accepted. It looks really nice, and well done.
Can't go wrong with that, can you?
Wonder where this goes next. Do you
I
go
mean,
to
he could.
stick with weapons? Do you go to clothing? I mean,
He
it's
could do a whole bunch of tools. You could do a leopard hammer. You could do leopard tools, leopard hatchet and pickaxe and whatnot. A leopard. Sorry, leopard. Sorry, did I say leather?
So I thought you said leper.
Yeah.
But,
Oh wow. Yeah.
No,
Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. No, but I think this could go on a lot of primitive items in the game and look real good. So
Right.
I could even see it on some deployables.
So
but
yeah, we could see some more. But Mr. MICRØ, I reckon we should move on talking about the. Don't you dare! Oh no, what happened? My superior weapon just defeated you and your measly bow. Yes, what do I have right here? A nice bone crunch to start it all. I have the Bonebreaker Crossbow made by Mr. Horomiel. Yes, get a good look at that, gentlemen. Get a good look at that. Got a big old bone holding it in place. Barbed wire, looking pretty gnarly there, Mr. Horomiel. You alright over there, Mr. MICRØ? You alright?
Good. I am feeling okay. My radio reception just got a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, you look great. You look stylish. You're a great trendsetter, Mr. Trendsetter. Oh my god, I completely ruined the joke. Right, anyway. So...
Yeah, 2023 is going to be the year of the arrow in the head. You're going to see everyone running around, you know, on the streets with an arrow in their head because we made it cool.
Yes, we did this. Yeah,
saw it here first, folks.
So, this was a surprise to see. I wasn't expecting this from Horomiel, and yeah, it's quite. Well, it's actually quite funny to bring it up with his other skin collection being called Skull Killer. Anyway, so yeah, I guess he really hates bones. Seems to be a bit of a trend that he has. But there's one thing I accidentally stumbled upon, and that is he actually intends this to be a collection. If you go on the workshop right now, on the workshop page for this, you will see that it's actually part of a collection, but there's only one skin in it. But if you look in the tags, what do you see? AK-47. So I think we might be seeing an AK-47 Bonebreaker next week.
I hate to break it to you, Edge, or maybe I'm not breaking you anything. That's the way it goes. Anytime an artist gets something accepted, they're going to capitalize on that momentum and publish something else in that same vein. The instant any new skin gets accepted, it's immediately in the creator's mind becomes a set because they're going to try to milk that and capitalize on that opportunity.
I know
I don't mean that in a negative way.
I know
right?
that.
But
I thought you were about to say, I've got a design accepted. I'm gonna make an AK. I thought that's what you were about to say.
Oh yeah. Well, that would be funny if everyone's, you know, go-to would be an AK. But no, I think in every creator's mind, as soon as you get something accepted, it becomes a set. They're gonna try something else. So yeah, we'll see what he comes up with next. You know, the question is, will it be turned into a set? It's not a set until it gets more than one accepted. So yeah, I think it'll be nice to see what comes next. This is a cool looking skin. The 3D work is great. The normals look good. So definitely the quality is there. We'll just have to see if the demand is enough to give it that momentum to have Face Punch identify that as something they want to move forward with.
Would you be able to put it on your back?
I certainly can. Just put down my tea. I'm drinking tea today. Taking a quick sip. There we go.
Looking very nice. So yeah, yeah, he really does hate bones. I mean, nothing wrong with that, buddy. Could this potentially turn into a full-fledged collection? Could it potentially turn into something that we're going to be seeing a whole lot more of in 2023? So yeah, keep an eye out, people. Keep an eye out on the workshop. If you like what you see, keep an eye out and you might see more. So yeah. Right then, Mr. MICRØ, shall we now finish off this week's batch of skins with the Reptile Python? Ta-da! So this is actually 1SQ's first skin to be accepted as the primary creator. So congratulations to you, Mr. 1SQ. Congratulations to you. We have, right in my hands, the Reptile Python. He's looking pretty angry. But yeah, let's just point out, a nice bright yellow aim sight should stand out in most environments. Maybe struggling a little bit in the white, but hey, helps out amongst that grey. And, oh yeah, nighttime. Let's just quickly take a look at nighttime, because of course you can't have glow-in-the-dark aim sights and whatnot, just to make sure everybody is aware. You can have a little bit of glow on the side of the weapon, but yeah, that didn't happen. Hello, Mr. MICRØ. So let's get a good twirl around there.
That's actually a rule, so it's not just like it's off meta or not in trend. It's a rule. Glow sights are not allowed.
Yes, and occasionally you do see someone brand new to all of this that tries to get something like that accepted. You can only kind of sit there and go, oh, he doesn't know. So yes, just a nice bright green, dark green blotch of paint, angry looking eye, yellow and dark orange, looking pretty good. See a lot of Python skins, and there's a bit of a problem with that. Python skins in general, if you go take a look at all of the 2022 Python skins that came out, there's only 2 skins that are in the positive. It is the Military Python and the Blackout Python. And there is a very good answer as to why both of them are currently above their rustore price. Right now, the Military Python is selling above $20 because it's getting pumped. It's got a ridiculous pump. There's a group of people buying them, and they're buying them all out to make it look as if it's worth $20. And at some point, they're going to go and trade them all onto third-party sites that are unaware, and they're going to walk out trading them over for more actual valuable skins like big grins and whatnot. So, but then we have the likes of the Blackout Python, which removed the panels, if you remember. Didn't necessarily remove them, but made them transparent. And yeah, this guy didn't do that, did he? He decided to keep a little face like that. Yeah. But yeah, it's also the Blackout Python, part of the Blackout collection, which is very in demand. And if you go check those prices right now, mate, during post-Christmas, they're selling very nicely at the moment. So yeah, I'm a little bit cautious in terms of investing into Python skins at the moment. The demand just doesn't seem to be there, and their prices tend to suffer pretty quickly. But we do know that this is actually going to be turned into a collection, don't we, Mr. MICRØ? And we actually have that skin.
Yeah, it's already on the workshop. We'll show that off a little later.
So
I'll comment on the desirability of Pythons. Python is actually a very powerful gun. In fact, in terms of damage, it's more powerful per shot than an AK. So that's why you see people using them in auto turrets. It's a great gun for putting an auto turret, but it's hard to shoot, and it only holds 6 rounds. So, if you're not landing your shots, you're doing a lot of reloading. That's a problem. And I think if you're gonna get Pythons and put them in your auto turrets, you don't care so much about the skin that's on it. So, I could see why it's maybe not so in demand.
Yeah. But hey, if every gun was overpowered, it wouldn't be a fun game, would it? It would be Modern Warfare 2. The old Modern Warfare 2, that's a long time ago. Don't worry, you're all too young, you wouldn't know. But yeah. So we should probably end this with talking about how all of the skins this week were typical picks. So basically they were all introduced to the workshop last week. All of these skins were on TGG's top picks. And yeah, maybe we'll see some variation next week or the week after that. But yeah, that's basically it with this week's Rust All rotation. A lovely batch of skins. Only the deployables this week are abnormal. So, Mr. MICRØ, if you have any other words, feel free to say anything that you might want to say.
Nope.
Okay.
It's an interesting store, or interesting week on the store. Surprised not to see any clothing or anything like that.
Yes,
We had some
don't get
speculations.
me started. Like, for example, his frosty hoodie and pants right there, version 2. Perfect time to accept them, but no. So, yeah, I hope we're not going through this trend all over again where we don't see clothing for a long time. We don't know why either. Like, Facepunch just doesn't seem to like clothing for some reason anymore.
You know,
Shrug.
we saw this massive uptick in player count. I don't know if that was expected to the degree that it happened. I think we always kind of anticipate there being a bit more player base during this time of the year because so many people are out of school for holidays and between semesters and whatnot. And it's a good time of year for playing Rust, but this surge was probably bigger than anticipated. And one thing that we've sort of been speculating on from time to time is the concept that for monthly force wipe, there's a good opportunity for a bit of a bigger sales week in terms of volumes or maybe prices.
More people seeing the skins. Exactly what I said at the very beginning of the stream.
Yeah, it's a popular week of the month because you have the opportunity to start fresh and get on, and it can be tough joining mid wipe. If you're gonna play the middle of the month, a lot of times you're playing modded servers or something with quicker gathering rates or whatnot, whatever your mentality is. There's a lot of different ways to play Rust, but if you're talking monthly wipe, forced wipe, that's typically historically the time where we see that peak in the ebb and flow of the player count. And that would be the perfect time, if you ask me, to drop a banger week, just full of juicy looking skins. And there's some cool looking skins this week. I just kind of would have expected there to be some clothing mixed in. That's all.
Yeah, like
but maybe that's next week. Maybe we're gonna have a big and popular week next week. I think the player count remains high. It's still pretty high up there. And
there's another thing that we also need to point out.
There's 165,000 people online.
Exactly.
And that's been on for the past 4 or 5 hours. I can see player all day today.
Yeah.
All day today, over 130K. We're up to 160 right now. So.
But there is one thing. There is one thing I want to point out. We have Chinese New Year just around the corner. And so that means next week's going to be the last week just before Chinese New Year. We're going to have like anything goes. But then when it's Chinese New Year, it's just going to be Chinese New Year skins. Everyone's going to get rabbit skins. The Year of the Rabbit. So it's like, I don't think we've had Chinese New Year clothing before. We've had the masks. Yeah, we had the masks, but that's an item anyway. That's its own thing. But I don't think we've seen the likes of Chinese New Year clothing and armour before. So that might be awkward. There you go. Look at that. Get a good look at that. Let's get a good look at that. Oh, don't you look happy?
What's coming.
Yeah, so that is going to be the mask for this year. If you want to wear, all of the Chinese New Year masks have the same stats. So if you know the stats of the other masks, you already know the stats for this rabbit mask. So get a good look at that, people. And what about during the day? Yep. Isn't he happy? Don't you look cute with your little flower, Mr. MICRØ?
I see Philip in chat just like beside himself with revolt over how ugly he thinks it is. Let me take off the beard because that's probably influencing your perception there a little bit.
Yes. And now
I think this. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I was a bearded rabbit, but I don't know. I think these Lunar New Year skins, the masks, keep getting better. They started with the rat mask, then they had actually they started with like the dragon mask, and then the rat mask, and then the ox mask.
Tiger mask. Tiger.
Tiger was last year, right?
Yep.
And then this rabbit mask, I don't know. I think it looks really cool. So we'll see. It's they're like a wolf head.
Yeah. So yeah, no, looks good.
Definitely looking forward to that. And so, we'll see. There is a little bit of uncertainty in the workshop right now over like what the expectation is for when to submit. But it is the artist's responsibility to maintain awareness of when the holidays are. And so knowing the Lunar New Year shop should be on the 19th probably. That would mean this upcoming Monday is the day to turn in your Lunar New Year skins. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know if there's a time frame or a limitation there. I mean, I guess we have about a week or so to keep our eyes peeled on a workshop for what's coming there.
So, Mr. MICRØ,
a nice week.
How about you walk over to here? Thank you very much for bringing the mask. We need to start talking about deployables, but we seem to be missing a garage door, Mr. MICRØ. Where might that be? Oh, there we go. Wonderful. Nice and prepared. Gentlemen.
We're moving on. We finished up this week's store item stuff. We're moving on to workshop skins. And we're starting with the Constellations garage door. Okay.
Yes, we are. So we have the Constellations garage door made by Mr. Cavenzi. He's the same person that made the Outer Planets quite some time back. And, well, he decided to, maybe instead of planets, I should do stars. And, well, this is where we are. He's been quite successful. I believe he's had 2 skins accepted so far. He's been trying to get that third, but he hasn't been successful, which is quite disappointing. But, yes, here we have the garage door. Get a good look at that. In fact, I'll zoom out a bit more. Yeah, get a good look at that.
Let me kill the stage lights just so we have full glow only there.
Yes, that looks nice. So yeah, good job there, Mr. Cavenzi. I understand that it's probably... Maybe it's smarter to try and go for a garage door right about now. Garage doors were very popular last year in terms of being accepted. Still a nice, reliable door to have. A lot of people clearly like to use them. Doing much better than the likes of the armoured doors. Oof. But yeah, garage doors, whilst we did see a lot of skins for them last year, their usage definitely helps out in terms of people wanting to use the skins. So not a bad idea, and perfect for the collection. So let me just bring this up.
My only criticism, if you want to call it that, my only point to consider is that this doesn't have any glow on the roller.
Oh yeah, we've been making more of a fuss about that recently, haven't we? So if I make it nighttime, bam, bring that up. Yeah, no glow, no like helpful look. So yeah, that is quite unfortunate to see, but you don't have to do it. But it is something that if you're going to make the skin, it's a case of, well, other people have done it, why not? Even if it's just like a little secret light that just kind of flashes there, you know, that's fine, you know. No one's against it, people are fine with it, so yeah. There's also the other thing where people put like a little sneaky design or a bit of light on the sides here. We've seen that happen for the likes of the Halloween skin, and there was another one I can't remember. But yeah, Quincy, I like what you're doing. I like the skin. And whilst you've been quite unlucky with your double doors, I think you're going to have better success with your garage doors. So we'll see what happens from here and there. Any other words, Mr. MICRØ?
I don't have anything to say other than... that glow on the roller would be nice, but it's still a nice design that ported over well from the personnel doors to the garage door. It doesn't look like the neon tubes would roll up with the rest of the door, but I don't think there's any way to escape that with this being sectioned into little partitions. You'd have kind of a boring design if each
you can test it.
row was its own design, you know? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you know, there's like panels here. There's 4 panels going across that constitute the roll-up sections of the door. All the little individual neon elements would not survive that rolling action if we're being realistic about the design here. But I think we can look past that at this point.
That's no longer a rule. Like that, we noticed that ever since we saw that garage door that came out during the first wipe day rotation for July of 2022. What was it called? I remember the time it came out, but I can't remember the door. It was... What was it called?
Aftermath door?
That's it, yes. And that's where we started to see the leniency for that. Because that used to be a rule, and, well, seems Facepunch don't care about that too much anymore. But hey, can't go wrong. So, I guess we're going to take a look at this other deployable skin real quickly then, Mr. MICRØ. Mr. MICRØ, let's go take a look at... We mentioned it, and it's here. The Twig collection is a collection. There's a second skin. Gentlemen, would you like to own a Twig small box? But it's got holes in it, so I'm not sure if that's super secure. But yes, gentlemen, as you can see right here, it looks like Freddy wants to turn his Twig collection into an actual collection. I believe we'll probably see our large box at some point. I was looking at this thinking, he could probably turn it into a locker. That would be pretty interesting for the design. But what would you personally what would you like to see made out of twigs? An armored door
could work. Locker could work. Yeah, the armored door would be pretty funny. Very contrary to the whole idea here. Even this door being the door itself being twig, I don't think anyone's gonna get fooled by that. But I don't think you could get away with putting that on anything that's meant to have any more durability than wood.
Yeah.
I would comment on this, that I think it's funny how you incorporated the transparency there. And actually, as far as small wood boxes go, they're a bit hard to skin, believe it or not.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of challenging to do small wood boxes. You know, it's not impossible. It's just tougher than you might think by looking. So there's the fact that he was able to get this all to look like twigs and get the transparency to work there is pretty nicely done. And the only complaint, if you want to call it that, I shouldn't even be introducing it as a complaint. The only observation I have is that, like, the scale of the twigs, it doesn't match. You know, the door matches the building material very closely in terms of the size and shape of the twigs that make everything together. This little box really actually just looks like a scaled down version of the door texture, and it looks like it's made out of like toothpicks or something. You know, it's
Toothpick small box. Do you reckon that'd sell well? Wow, I get what you mean. It does just look like a scaled down version of it.
The concept I'm talking about is maybe a little bit more apparent if I put them next to each other. Let me just deploy this over here. You can see it all together. I don't know, something.
No, that's instantly noticeable. Yeah, it's not the same size. But one thing I would point out: maybe you don't want huge twigs for a small box.
Yeah,
and
true.
Yeah, now you got a lock there as well.
It's not a complaint. It's just my first impression was like, oh, it's the same thing just scaled down. But
what you got to understand is twigs come in all shapes and sizes, Mr. MICRØ. Don't body shame.
I like my twigs big. You know, actually, if it's a twig, it is probably small. You know, these are more like sticks or branches.
What I believe is your interest in you are interested in logs. All right, right? Yeah, you don't appreciate a good twig. Anyway, I reckon we can move on to the weapons. So, Mr. MICRØ, let's go whip out, open up that garage door, get in position. I have in my hands the continuation of the Reptile collection, yes, already. As I said, the Reptile Python came out last week. It was submitted last week, and it was accepted this week, so that's a typical pick. But this week we have this introduced and put onto the workshop. 1SQ made a Reptile SAR as well, with a very nice bright green aim sight. Very nice, very nice. And, of course, when it's night time, what do we see? The light reflects in it quite nicely, but when you're in the darkness, you do not see anything. So, yep, that's all good. And now I ask Mr. MICRØ, strike a pose. And his head is falling off. MICRØ, why is your head falling off? Have you given up?
Oh, no. I don't know why it does that. Sometimes there's a little bug player model. If I do a head look, maybe I can fix it. That's not our fault. That's just rust. That's yeah, I'm gonna try to correct that.
It's fine. It's fine. It looks funny. It's not been a good year for MICRØ because it started.
Is that
Yes.
fixed?
No,
I
it's
think that may
fine.
be
You're
better.
fine now.
Okay, great. I'm good.
Yeah.
See?
Right. Oh, at least you get to fix your head. I can't fix mine.
Yeah, there's no fixing your head, Hedge. I'm
No,
sorry about that.
I just have to
Just
wait.
only time. Yeah.
Alright then, so, yep, it's pretty much the exact same design. Do you notice anything different?
It is basically a bigger version. I mean, what can
Yeah,
I
that's
say?
basically it, isn't it? Like, same colours. I mean, you can't go wrong. Sometimes the skin's just literally this. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You know, some people just want to make a nice, straightforward design. And hey, that's what got accepted. So you could be the person that makes a wacky, super intricate design, and then you might lose to. I wouldn't say lose. I don't want to say lose, but someone else who made a much more simple, bright coloured design will probably get picked. Face punch makes the decision. You know, yeah, that's basically it, isn't it? Like, you could question it all you want. That's just basically the answer every single week. So, again, I'm not hating on a simple approach. It's nice to have both intricate and crazy and simple and realistic. You know, it's nice to, just draw from each and yeah.
I agree with you there. If you only did one type of thing, you would alienate all the people who like the other thing. I saw this argument recently on Twitter. I forget if it was new Call of Duty or what it was, but there was players complaining about, all the anime skins for so long, and then the devs turned around and responded with a bunch of mil sim type military realistic type of weapons, and then people turned around and complained, oh, they all look the same, there's no variation. Like, you can't make everybody happy. So what, the compromise there is have some flashy skins, have some subdued skins, have some really high effort skins, have some low effort skins. You got to have that spectrum, got to have that mix. That's what keeps the balance, and I think that makes for a healthy economy for us as investors.
Personally, looking at this, it looks like some paint was sprayed on it, and then a guy then drew over it.
Marked
So
over it. Yeah.
yeah, I guess you could say that's probably a realistic design. Like, it's not.
My first inclination, and this is, I unfortunately, as a technical person, my automatic response is to look at it from a technical point of view. Now, let me step back and just say, from an artistic point of view, from a aesthetic appeal point of view, it actually looks pretty cool with the spray paint, with that gradient color scheme where it fades from green to yellow to orange. The colors work, the design works. It definitely comes across as sort of like realistic. Like, that's kind of what you were saying, like as if somebody just took a black SAR, spray painted it, magic markered over it, and this is what you have. And I think that looks cool. But back to what I was saying, my first reaction was like, oh, there's no normals. It's a flat skin. But that's exactly what you would have if you spray painted a SAR and then magic markered over it. There would be no
Yeah.
change to the shape or dimensions or the texture. So he gets away with it. We saw that with like the Blackboard stuff. It works. It's kind of disappointing to see default normals on skins these days with all the technology, between Blender and other things that aren't so affordable. But there's a lot of tools out there for doing the sculpting, and like we saw with the Volcano Door this week, you can achieve some really fantastic results in these 3D modeling programs to get a sculpture together and bake a normal map that'll make these skins really stand out, really pop. But this is proof that it's not always necessary to do that. You could still have creative ideas that play off the default geometry of the in-game model, and this actually makes that happen. So, you take a little spray paint, a little magic marker, and you can dress up anything to look nice. We should spray paint your head. Hedge, how many channel points or bit donations do we need so that we can spray paint some hair back on your head, and maybe magic marker some eyebrows on you? Set a price. Let's see if we can meet it.
I'm gonna move on. We're not gonna feed these people any more ideas.
I would, we'd take a little couple bits of masking tape. We can get a nice mohawk going on there.
With some tape.
I think you'd look good.
With some tape, we can shut your mouth. Anyway. What do I have in my hands? It's the continuation of the Cybercode collection. So yes, we showed off a Cybercode SAR earlier, but now we have the MP5. Reload. All good. Ba-bang, bang, bang. And yeah, I guess everything you just talked about there, we could probably apply to this MP5, because, well, I've kind of already seen this design, haven't I? We've already seen it on the SAR. I have noticed each weapon has their own name as well. So you got the MP5 here. Do you still have the SAR on you?
I can grab it. It's in my backpack here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did it say SAR? Yeah, it does. It says SAR. So there is a little bit of a difference there that I've noticed. But in terms of the overall designs, you can change it back to the MP5 if you want. Yeah, it definitely starts to seem like it's all starting to become a bit. I don't want to say samey, but it's a collection. Of course, it's going to look samey. Duh. But yeah, like.
How do you change that up? I mean, once you have a certain type of design, like with the banger stuff, you know, he's got a lot of stylistic elements that he can rearrange, and
which he has. If you remember,
and does a great job of creating variations there.
If you remember the crossbow, he had to change the bullet, didn't he? Because it doesn't shoot bullets. So, but that's part of the fun, you know. He had something he had to change. You can't do this design on a crossbow or a hunting bow, or can you? You know, can it be done? Should it be done? I mean, I'd like to see an attempt on that. That might be interesting. But yeah, like, hey, he's had how many of these skins being accepted now? 3 out of, I think it's 4 out of 5. So, you know, fair play. It's working. Why stop? Why change? That's not like a dismissive thing, but it's like, yeah, like that's what it is. That's working. I wouldn't say no if I was in his position. So yeah.
So
anyway,
he has an LR,
yes,
an AK,
yep,
and now a SAR that have been accepted. He also made a Thompson.
Oh. Yes.
And an MP5. So
yeah.
We're looking at the MP5, obviously. The Thompson was made back in November and unfortunately was passed up. That looked pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. We didn't show that. I don't remember if we showed that or not.
We've shown off every single one. We have. It's just we've seen so many skins recently, it's hard to remember.
Sometimes, yeah, it is.
Yeah. You could show it as well, just as, you know, and then we got the Thompson right there. So yeah. Yeah, I mean,
in my opinion, this has been passed up. I mean, we do always see from time to time, Helk will go back in the archives and pull something out.
That's literally what started Elite Crate back all over again. The only reason why we even have Elite Crate at the moment is Helk decided, oh, I remember that Elite Crate AK that came out on December 2020. Oh yeah, I guess I'll accept it now. 2 years later, and it did. But then it motivated Odyssey to then make even more skins for that collection, and now we are looking at potentially seeing a full set of Elite Crate armor being made, clothing and armor. So you know, random things like that can definitely inspire a skin creator to, you know, start making a whole bunch of skins. But Mr. MICRØ, I think we've sat on this for a bit. Let's move on. Right. Oh no. Oh, I've got this in the wrong order. Right. And it's not showing me the colour. Uh-oh. That's gone wrong. Oh no.
Is the satchel?
Yeah, it's lost its colour. Oh no, now it's back.
Yeah, we had some issues in the prep here. We were warming up. We were checking things out. We saw some weirdness with satchel skins. I don't think it's related to the server or the game. It's just, I don't know what it is. I don't think it's the skin. We definitely just had some weirdness. But it's working now, it appears.
Yeah.
So let's just go with it.
It's not working in my hands, but it is working on the floor. So to the floor it goes. I'm sorry that I'm having to show it this way. I'm sure when I look at MICRØ it'll work perfectly fine. But yes. No, not when I'm standing there. Bad MICRØ. But yes.
Will it go off?
Out with a bang.
It did go off.
Yes. Well, now I haven't got a thing to look at. All right, you stand there and look. Oh no, it's not working in your hands either. Right. So now I see
Really?
it. Now you
No,
pick it up.
that happened for me too.
Yeah.
That happened for me. It loaded on the ground, but not in my hands.
Go on, pick it up. Pick it up. I need to see if it works in your hands again. And then, no, it doesn't work. Oh no. So yeah, this is the game. It's not our fault. Maybe I have to wait a while. Maybe if we load in some more. Do you reckon...
I just loaded in another one.
Right, throw it to me. To you, hot potato. No, sorry. See, it didn't even load. Let me pick it up. No.
Oh, it's too late now. You may not. Are you safe in there?
I think so. Right, just pass it. Not. Come on, just pass it, please. Please. Yeah. Oh, it works now.
Oh,
pick it.
That one loaded in my hand.
Yeah. Pick up. That's the good one. MICRØ. Pick him up. Yep.
No, I got another good one here.
Just pose, please.
Isn't that weird? That's really weird behavior.
Okay. So, press I. There we go. Yes. Nice and slow to Mr. MICRØ. Yes. So, the point I was trying to make is Mr. Zinc has decided to continue his Toxic Wolf collection. Oh, yes, looking very nice. So, yes, all salivary and toxic. Get a good look at that. Big bite marks, scratches. He's done pretty okay with this skin collection in terms of seeing some skins being accepted here and there. It's not super popular to get acceptances, but every now and then when he comes back and tries to make some new things, you see like 2 or 3 being accepted every year. So let's see if that trend follows into 2023. Will we see a whole lot more? Will he decide to try and make some more Toxic Wolf clothing and armour? I wouldn't say no to that. Mr. MICRØ, would you like to put it on your side, your hip?
All right.
And you turn to your right. Yep, that's it. Perfect. And let's make it dark. Good stuff. So yeah, very, very nice. Chat, one thing I didn't mention for all of this time talking about the workshop skins is if you like what you see, please consider going on to the workshop and voting yes or no on these skins. Do you like what you see? Show your support. Let Facepunt see it. And then maybe these skins might potentially be accepted. That very likely could happen. But it's in your hands. You possess the power. You can vote yes or no. So yes. Okay. Mr. MICRØ, I guess we've shown off enough with this.
Yeah, the chat is suggesting that the toxicity of this satchel charge actually is what burned off all your hair.
Oh, great.
Is there any validity to that story?
I'm going to move on. You people are so evil. No, MICRØ, stop it. No.
I threw it in the water. It's fine.
Good. Right. Anyway, so what do I have in my hands?
That didn't go in the water, though.
No, it did not go in the water. Don't stand in it. Don't stand in it. How'd I miss that? Anyway, whilst he has fun with these explosions, we can take a look at this Blackboard crossbow. So, MICRØ, you were just literally talking about this just a minute ago. The crossbow skins with all of its formulas. Mr. Kua has returned to making another Blackboard skin. Let's go take a look at Mr. MICRØ. He's reloading it. It's got a little face in the front there. He is an angry face. Yes. So the angry looking face right there. And
I have a backstory here on this one.
Go right ahead.
I was talking to Kua the other day, and he told me about what his on the side of the skin there. Sorry, I'm tripping over my words. The side of the skin has a bunch of like formulas and stuff, and he told me that was just basically his math homework.
Oh, really?
And it's actually a formula for the volume of oil depending on temperature, and also something involving sailing long distances, taking the curvature of the Earth into consideration.
Oil is weird.
Interesting stuff there.
There's so many O's and X's in oil formula. Right, well, I see what you mean, yes. Anyway, yeah.
I didn't actually validate that. I'm somewhat of a formula person myself. I don't know if that's truly a volumetric expansion thing or it looks like it could be. but I'll take his word for it.
So many X's and O's, but where are the answers? All right. You probably didn't get the joke I was making there.
I didn't. I'm sorry.
You sat there and said, "Oh, he's got all the formulas here for oil," and I was just looking at the tic-tac-toe.
Oh, well, there's some other little memes on there too. There's that 99/2 thing is a reference to another game. I don't actually know how to pronounce that, if it's Osiris or Osiris, OSRS, but apparently that's
OSRS, yes, old school RuneScape.
Oh, that's right. You
Yep.
know what? I should have known that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Old school RuneScape.
That's right. Exactly. Yep. Thank you for connecting those dots for
How
me.
do
I
you
actually
think?
did know that.
How do you think I learned my marketing abilities? I used to buy, sell, and trade in RuneScape. That's how it all came to me. I understood how people behave,
No
and yeah, and then I ended up playing FIFA when Ultimate Team rolled out and became a insane thing that it is. I understood how a active market works in terms of when new things come out and how people react, and when someone plays really good or does something really silly or funny in real life and people suddenly want to buy it. And yeah, I just learned everything I learned with TF2, CSGO and Rust, skin selling, trading, buying and whatnot. It's all thanks to the likes of those two games, understanding markets and whatnot through games.
It armed you and prepared you for this very moment where I misunderstood the abbreviation, but you were there to catch me when I fell. So thank you, Hedge. I appreciate that.
Yep, that's all good.
Save the moment.
So I think we've talked enough about this crossbow. I can give you one quick word. Crossbow skins at the moment during post-Christmas. Thank you very much, Mr. MICRØ. So, crossbow skins during the post-Christmas time. They're actually doing quite all right. Quite a lot of them. Glister, the most recent one. What was the most recent one? Oh, what was the most recent one accepted? There was also comics. Well, basically, the point I'm trying to get across is quite a lot of these crossbow skins are doing very nicely, very close to their Rust prices, ever so slightly above or ever so slightly below. The only one significantly struggling one is the military crossbow. All the other ones are either comfortably in the positive or just slightly below or slightly above their Rust prices. So crossbow skins do seem to be doing quite alright when times are good. It's just during the year, when it's not like post-Christmas times and when prices aren't going wacky, yeah, they don't really tend to do very nicely. But I feel like it wouldn't hurt for maybe another crossbow skin, he says, as we literally just had one being accepted.
We had Crossbone, we had Glister, comics, cardboard, Crossbow from Hell.
Yes, that's another one.
That's only going back to June.
Yeah.
There's military, there was a streamer skin, there was Pixel, Heartstrings, Cargo Heli was the first one of the year of 2022. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow.
So the
Lots
point,
of streamer skin.
The point there is, whilst we do get quite a lot of skins, some of them do get in the positive eventually. But the problem is, how easy is it to know that? How easy is it to instantly know, oh yeah, that's easily going to become a positive skin? You can't really know that. The only significantly good one that I was aware of is the comics one, which I believe was like, I think it went up by at least 50% during these times. So yeah, it can be awkward. So yeah, crossbow skins are a bit funny, much like hunting bow skins. Primitive skins, I guess, you know. You're only going to need to use them for a certain part of the time, only during a certain part of the game, because you're not going to easily beat someone who's got a gun. Or maybe you're that good and you can. So, right, so...
I saw a Life Stomper clip the other day. He lost an M2 to a bow. It happened. It happened.
I mean, that's what dreams are made of, isn't it? Right, MICRØ. Shall we move on to talking about the Dead Cells Thompson? So let's go quickly rearrange all of this. Let's go back over to here. I've got to bring all this back up. So I've got that, I've got that. Yeah, I've got it in my hands already. That's good. So Dead Cells Thompson. Yes, the Dead Cells collection is here. Get a good look at this. I think this actually looks pretty good on the Thompson. Yeah. I haven't been the biggest of fans. The biggest fan. my head, seriously. Sorry, I haven't been the biggest fan of the Dead Souls collection from all the skins that I've seen recently, just kind of being honest. But from what I see here, I think it looks reasonably okay on the Thompson. Like, Thompson skins, regardless, always usually do alright. I'm more than happy to see more of them. Not super frequently, of course, but yeah. Thompson skins, ever so reliable. Nice, helpful, bright green tip right there to help you with most environments. Grassy areas I'm not so sure about, but here stands out nice enough, so that's helpful. Mr. MICRØ, strike a pose, get a good look at you, and yes, let's start making it instantly night time.
There's actually, Thompson is one of the models that's really hard to pull off a good looking skin on. It's particularly challenging because of the rear sight, that vertical blade that's that's the rear notch for the back part of the aim sight. That texture is duplicated from elsewhere on the receiver. On the essentially, it comes right off the top of the gun, right in front of the rear sight. So it's very challenging as an artist to come up with a design that incorporates that obstacle, that additional complexity into the skin making side of things. So as a player, we don't think about that kind of stuff, but from the artistic point of view, Thompsons are pretty challenging to pull off a nice looking skin. And unfortunately, you can't see it in the third person camera where you're looking at Hedge. So you would have to show this off in your hands in order to properly do it. But if you look around the base of the rear sight, you could see a bit of like repeated portion of the texture. And that's a consequence of just the way the texture mapping is done in game. So can you see that on the flat part of the top of the rear sight, part that's touching the top of the gun? You can only
there,
see it from,
yeah,
right there. Yep.
You see it now you see it. Yeah, now you see it. I see that. Yeah, I spotted that. So yep, back to you.
So yeah, no, it's I don't think that is any marks against it. I think it's actually marks in favor of this, just as from the technical side, from the skin making side, that's pretty tough to get around that little quirk sometimes. So you could come up with a really great looking skin, and then you find that the sight just looks so bad, or somewhere else on the gun looks bad. The piece on the top of the receiver, that flat part on the top, just looks weird because you have those textures repeated, and the design has to take that into account. So I'm using a lot of words here to say that I think it's cool from a technical side how he worked around that challenge, and the design works pretty well on the Tommy, so I'll give him that too. He's been pretty persistent when it comes to coming up with more skins for this collection, for this design concept, so
but
I admire his persistence.
He keeps getting a random skin accepted every now and then. I don't blame him for giving it a shot, but I guess you probably will reach a point where it's like, you know what, I feel like making something different. But that would probably take a few failed attempts in getting a skin accepted for that to potentially happen, I guess. I'm not a skin creator, so I can't answer that. But sometimes it's just a case of maybe I just take a break from this, and eventually, sometime later on, I'll make a new skin, and then randomly that gets accepted. In fact, that quite literally is what happened with the likes of this Volcano Door. LeCramp made a hammer and another tool skin after he got the furnace accepted. Wasn't accepted, and then he waited over a year and a half later, made the Volcano Door. Volcano Door gets accepted. So yeah, that's what actually caught us out, and not noticing that was part of a collection. But yeah, we can only try our best. So, are you happy there, Mr. MICRØ? Hey, don't do that to him. No, stop it, MICRØ. We got more things to show. Get into position. Don't make me teach you a lesson. What do I have in my hands? Gentlemen, do you remember early last year we saw the likes of the Rebar collection? We saw some Rebar tools, a Rebar bow knife and a Rebar rock, and then that was it. No more Rebar skins. Very random. But what we do have is, in my hands right here, it's another attempt at a combat knife skin. Don't get too close, MICRØ. I will stab you, and I will laugh when you cry. So, MICRØ, get in position. Stop running around with a knife. Right, so let's just get a good look at that. Now, what is this pattern? What is this pattern I'm seeing here? It's like,
It's rebar. If you've ever seen the reinforcement that you put inside concrete when you're making a structure, that needs to be strong in both compression and in tension. Rebar is your go-to strengthening component that goes inside concrete, and it has a very typical kind of appearance. It's got grooves and a lot of texture on the outside to let the concrete grip onto it really well. So this whole set is based on around the idea of people forging together a block made out of rebar. This is stuff that people do. If you're into metalsmithing, this is nothing to do with rust or anything else. This is like real world, like blacksmith type stuff. People do all sorts of stuff to forge weld metals together. They'll take a metal cylinder, like a tube. They'll pack it with BBs or with ball bearings or rebar or all sorts of different metals. And then they'll heat it up red hot, and then they'll pound it with a hammer. And while that's all red hot and under that extreme force of being crushed together, the materials actually bond and become welded. And now you have a big chunk of metal. And then once you machine that down and turn it into the form of a knife, you can really get some amazingly intricate textures and patterns that reveal themselves with the proper processing of the blade. And so in knife making, it's very common for people to do this. They'll take a fistful of barbed wire or something, and they'll forge weld it all together. And when they finally turn that into a knife, the patterns you get are crazy. It's a lot like old school Damascus folding, where they take a billet of steel, they heat it up, and then they fold it over on top of itself like 100 or 1,000 times. And then once that gets turned into a knife, they do like an acid etch process on it to finish it, and it reveals this really, really detailed and intricate pattern within the structure of the metal itself, which can actually be used structurally, to strengthen a blade or give it certain properties. So I know I'm talking a lot about metalworking, about forging, about blacksmithing, but this is actually a pretty cool design where somebody has extended that same concept from a real world blacksmithing technique into the game here. And we've already seen a number of items in the Rebar collection, but this is like actually the perfect one here because it's something that people actually do.
So, and if that is to be accepted, that would be the first combat knife to be accepted in over 2 years. The last one to be accepted, Emerald combat knife that came out in 2020. Cool, actually it might be 3 years. I think that came out like in springtime 2020. So yeah, that right there would be a welcome addition because it's an item that hasn't seen a skin for a long time. Sorry to interject there, Mr. MICRØ. So
yeah, Emerald is from September 2020.
Oh, okay. So yeah, not as bad, but yeah. MICRØ, don't have to point at me. Don't have to.
Oh, that was a whiff.
Would you like to wear the Arctic protection, which we would know as the Arctic camo? So we have some burlap clothing to show for you. If you recall, a good few months ago, we had the likes of the Arctic camo poncho being accepted. A very random surprise to see for a poncho skin. Where'd that come from? And then evidently we got tons of poncho skins being accepted, and then suddenly they weren't so special anymore. But anyway, that used to be called the Arctic Potential poncho. Oh my god, the Arctic Protection poncho. I almost did it again. So yes, it got changed to Arctic camo poncho, and this very likely would also be Arctic camo as well. Face Punch likes to change names from workshop names, but yes, this is at the moment called the Arctic Protection burlap shirt and pants. And Mr. MICRØ, give us a spin, give us a twirl, chat.
I feel like I'm wearing pajamas. Does it look like I'm wearing PJs?
It kind of does, doesn't it? The stitching kind of looks a bit strange, but I'm like, I guess that could work. But yeah, I can't even remember. Oh, actually, yes, I do. Do you know what was the last burlap clothing to be accepted? The hood, the shirt, and the pants, to be precise. MICRØ, do you know?
Oh, well, I know. My go-to is going to be the fish set, but I know that's wrong. I
No,
know that's wrong.
it's no.
Um,
You're half correct. It's the fisherman set.
Fisherman.
That
Man.
came out almost a year and a half ago, late 2021. Yes.
Yep.
So yeah,
August.
get a good look at Mr. MICRØ during the day. Looking
Here,
pretty good.
well, I'll do that in a second. I was going to put on the poncho too.
You can put the poncho on as well. It's all right.
Okay, here we go. Poncho on.
Yeah, blends quite nicely with it. Come on, MICRØ, spin, faster, MICRØ, don't stop. Okay, this would stop. So yeah,
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm also gonna just take a little jog along the shoreline here. Can you just follow me along the rocks over here? Maybe I can do a little demonstration of it blending in or of concealing my outline a little bit. Does that do anything at all to conceal me?
Well, if you didn't move so much, we'd probably yeah. But if you stood right against the rocks, maybe near those bushes, what are probably bushes, from a distance, if I press I and then zoomed out, maybe that's too far away. But yeah, as I get closer, don't tell me. What did you just destroy? What did?
Nothing at all.
Well, you gotta go buy a new bloody thing now.
We're still good. Don't worry.
That's not good.
Worry.
That's not good.
We're fine. We're fine. We have insurance. Oh, but you know, it's not fine because I cannot replace that because of the building, the way it's built. So
well,
we have a little hole there. The stage is a little bit more
just stand in position.
Ventilated now. Here, we'll just cover up that little mistake by just building something else there.
Oh, great, wonderful. So yes,
all good.
That proved to be very successful. Thank you very much, Mr. MICRØ. So yeah, gentlemen, this is the Arctic Protection Burlap shirt and pants. If you like what you see, please consider voting yes or no. And I think we'll end this off with the JPEG version 2, Mr. MICRØ. If you could whip that out. In fact, why don't we whip out all of the JPEG if you have it on hand?
Okay.
So, quite recently, we were surprised to see the likes of the JPEG hoodie and pants being submitted. Then we're even more surprised to see the likes of the JPEG hoodie and pants being accepted. Chat, we potentially might see JPEG full collection being made. We are just waiting for the tier 3 to potentially be accepted, but there is a bit of a problem. It's not the first time, is it, Mr. MICRØ, if you could spin around as I talk? So, ever since the middle of September in 2022, MICRØ spin.
I will. I'm just doing something else really quick.
All right, I'll spin then. So, yes, what basically happened is GBG and Trigger, they made an attempt during the middle of September of 2022. They tried to get their first edition of the JPEG Tier 3 being accepted, and, well, that just wasn't successful. And a lot of people got impatient with the likes of the Tier 2. Tier 2 came out first, of course, and the price got pretty cheap. And then we saw the random submission of the hoodie and pants in early December, and then we see the actual acceptance during post-Christmas. So they did go up in price during post-Christmas, but then they were accepted a week ago, and then yeah, they went up even higher in price. So yeah. If we do see the Tier 3 being accepted, the hoodie, the pants, the Tier 2, that's all probably going to jump back up in price. But one thing I did notice earlier this week, which I made a video about, was with so many people feeling optimistic with this JPEG collection, there's quite a lot of purchases of the hoodie and pants, and quite a significantly higher amount in comparison to the kilt, which could potentially be a problem. Either too many purchases of the hoodie and the pants will equal far too many being put onto third-party sites and, of course, the Steam market. But if we do see that Tier 3 being accepted, regardless, the reactionary nature of the Rust economy will happen and the price will spike. We've seen this happen many times. Do you know one thing I would like to point out? With that tempered with the tempered large box that we had accepted just 2 days ago, the deployables went up in price because of it. Both of them, the sheet metal door and the garage door, went up by 50%, simply because there was a new skin being accepted to it. To the, I guess you could say, sub collection, because I like to call it the tempered deployable collection, but it's the whole thing. So yeah, yeah, new skins are part of a collection. Do that. So yeah, MICRØ, any words you might want to say? Are you a fan of a JPEG?
I like it for its meme value. You know, we saw a couple other sets that, specifically like the low poly set, where it was sort of a gimmick, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's, you know, a cool concept, but it was so like the same as the default hoodie and pants. You know, it's like the same color and everything, and it's just, I don't know. For whatever reason, that set just didn't perform well. It didn't take off like we kind of hoped it might. I mean, we hope for everything to take off. We hope everything is well received, but you know, that one didn't. It kind of fell flat, I would say.
Well,
we did see a little bit of pumping action going on there with that set, but we could never count on something like that happening.
no,
I think the
you shouldn't
JPEG
rely
is
on that.
no. I think the JPEG is pretty well executed. When I first started seeing the JPEG set, I have to be honest, I rolled my eyes a little bit because I was like, oh, it's another gimmick. You know, we have pixel, we have low poly, we have just a bunch of different plays on words. You know, we have 8-bit, we have there's a bunch of different like concepts that people have tried, and
Oh,
this was a little funny to me at first, but once you have the whole set together, I think it actually converted me over to be an enthusiast. I think this looks good. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to
no, it's fine.
screw you up there. I think this just I'm searching for the right words here. It's like mind bending. It's sort of like a little, not quite an illusion, but the effect that it has with this sort of, I guess you'd call it cell shaded. I mean, it works. It looks so good, and when you have other stuff in your hands, like let me give you an example here with well, we had the Code SAR out. We'll use that. It's just like somehow the contrast, or the, what do they call it, the juxtaposition there of the detailed skin versus the non-detailed skin, or the realistic looking or improvised looking skin versus something obviously very artistic. It somehow it tickles me in a funny way. I don't know. It's just I gotta hand it to him for a creative design, and even though it's sort of simple in one sense, you know, it's
Cartoonish.
yeah. I mean, it's aesthetically it's very simple. You know, there's not a lot to it, but it's a great idea, and it was executed well. And when you see it with the armor and the clothing all together, it's like I got to smile when I see it. It's pretty cool.
Whatever makes you happy and sleep at night. I don't mean that in a mean way.
No, it's
pretty.
it's true. It's all up to the individual to determine if they like something or not.
Yeah.
But it's a meme that I think it worked. He did a good job, and it's continued to come up with more stuff that works with the set, and even continues that idea and enhances it a little bit more and takes it to the next level. When you see somebody fully dressed in JPEG set, it really stands out, and it looks out of place in a good way.
Yeah.
So,
like,
yeah,
I guess as many people have said in the chat, it's like they approve of it better than the low poly, and I kind of would agree to that. Like, at least this is a gimmick and has a nice style to it, whereas low poly was just literally like the default, but with like edges on it, and that was basically it. So, yeah. Now I'm gonna. Anyway,
I don't know what's next.
Oh,
I mean,
look,
and this might
even
be
the blood.
This might be controversial, but like, what's next after JPEG? Do we have a GIF set, or is it a GIF set? I don't know how you pronounce it, but
well, we could probably see some more transparent stuff. That seems to be all the rage at the moment. That seems to be. Oh, let's just zoom out a bit there. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, Yeah, we've seen a lot of like transparent hats and whatnot being put out. I remember Shedmon had loads of them. He had very fun ideas and whatnot, but they weren't accepted. I don't know. I mean, I really wanted to see GBG and Trigger put out more JPEG whilst I was waiting. Well, but literally just before the Hoodie in the Pants were submitted, there's a lot of other people trying to get a cel-shaded collection started. And I thought, you can't do that. We're still waiting on JPEG. But none of them were accepted. And, well, JPEG continued. So that's a nice endpoint, isn't it? So, MICRØ, I guess that's this week, isn't it? I guess we're all nice and set up and wrapped up.
I would add to that, transparency is something that can be used to great effect if done judiciously, with care. If you over apply the transparency effect, you can really end up with some skins that look a bit broken, or just they're too far out, they're too outlandish to be considered for the game. But there's other instances of transparency being used in a very subtle or tasteful way, and it adds a lot to the skin because you can just do little things, whether that's making a portion of the aim site transparent or putting a little transparent window in the Twig door. There's a lot of ways that you can include it and have it be tasteful and practical and functional and not break the overall look and feel of the skin. I think the Blackout MP5 was the skin that for me pushed it. That's like as far as you can go with transparency without going like too far.
The slow change in leniency, and we're slowly seeing how much can be changed and altered and whatnot. So maybe we'll see it go too far this year. Maybe we won't. We'll find out. It's going to be an interesting year. But at the moment, it's literally only just the beginning. So, Mr. MICRØ, thank you very much for helping me out this week, of course, much like every other week. Any final words that you might want to say to everybody?
Nope. Just want to say thanks to everybody. I hope you have a great 2023. Happy New Year if I didn't say that already. Thanks once again for coming out on Saturday to enjoy the stream and see the new content we have coming every week. And appreciate seeing you all make your contributions in chat there. Great stuff. So,
right.
Hope you all have a good year, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much, Mr. MICRØ, and have a good one. Thank you.